Hello everyone and welcome back to my Unreal Engine platforming tutorial series. And in this episode we are going to go over creating a hub world and teleporting between the different levels, similar to Spyro or Super Mario 64, where you go through a portal like so and it takes you to a new level. And at the end of the level, when we go back through the portal, it teleports us to the correct place. So here's a different level, and as you can see, I've put the portal here, which really is a different level, and that takes us back out here. So let me show you how I did this and how easily you can implement it yourself. Okay, so first things first, we're going to come to our content browser, and in your third person content folder, I just renamed the basic level that's there to level hub because I want this to be my hub world. Yours might be default map or whatever it is, right? And then we're going to come to our variant platforming, and I just duplicated that original level and named it level B. This is important just to show that there's different levels. You can name it whatever you want. Just keep in mind that the naming convention you need to remember and copy it exactly for the code coming up. So first things first, we're going to need to create a game instance. Now the game instance is basically the function that keeps track of everything that goes on in our game, sort of like a save game in a way, but it doesn't store the data. It just allows the facilitation of storing the data. I hope I'm making sense. So what I did is I created a game instance, so I'll show you how to do that now. So come into your blueprints folder. If you don't have the same folder structure I have, don't worry, this is all coming up in future tutorials, but for now just create a folder called save game, or anywhere here just right click and create a game instance. So sorry, I'm just deleting this, I don't need it. Okay, so come to blueprint class, and then under this all classes just search game instance, right? And you're going to click this game instance here. Don't select anything else, just make sure it's this one and select and name it BP game instance. Yeah, so you can see I already have mine, but I'll show you what's in mine and then we could copy across. Okay, so open up your BP game instance. Now yours will probably not have any of these variables. Don't worry about that. The only thing we need to do is create this last entered portal. So come to your variables, and we're going to make this a string and just name it last entered portal, like I have here. Okay, so then compile and save, and that's all you need to do here. So what we're going to do then is every time we reference this game instance, we can now access this variable of last entered portal. So once you've done that, go to edit, project settings, and come to maps and modes. Just make sure that your editor map is level hub, but down here is the important part, this game instance class. Just set this to your BP game instance. Okay, then close out of that and let's get onto the portal itself. So come to your blueprints folder, create a folder called portals like I have here, and in here we're just going to right click and get a blueprint class of type actor, name it BP level portal, open that up. And we're going to add two components to our scene and then a couple of variables. So let's just add our static mesh. And we're going to pull in our mesh that we want. So I've just created this arch in Blender and then just brought it in. Obviously, if you have like frames like Super Mario, you could do the same. But for now, this will do. So next thing I'm going to do is add a box collision. And we're just going to change the box type to fit. So 100 should be fine for here. Here's 10 for width and 90. Yeah. Okay, so that's my box collision. Okay. So compile and save. And now we're just going to add two variables to this, right? So we're going to add the target level name. And this will be also a type string. And we're going to add a return portal name. Yeah, that's also going to be a string. So make sure these are instance editable by clicking the little eyes. Okay, So basically what's going to happen is when we place our portal in the world, these two variables will become available for us, and this will just be the level we want to open, and this will be the portal that we've gone through. So if we go through this portal to level A, this will become the return portal level A. So we'll all set that up. Okay, so next we want to do is we want to go to our event graph, click on our box collision, and just scroll down until you get this on component begin overlap. And from here, we're going to cast to the player, cast to BP player. So this is just checking that it's the player that's overlapped with the box. And if it is, we're going to right click anywhere in the event graph and get game instance. And the reason we set up the game instance before we did all of this is so we can reference it here. So cast to BP game instance. And then from here, we're just going to go and set last portal entered. And we're going to set that as the return portal name. So just click and drag and it'll auto connect. And then we're going to open the level by name. And that will be our target level name. And you'll see it will auto convert for us. Okay. So just to go over this, we're going to first check our player is the one that's overlapped with the box, and if it is, we're then going to get our game instance and cast to it, and from there we're going to set the last portal entered by setting it to the return portal name, and then we're going to open the level, and that's going to be the target level name. So click compile and save, and that's all for our portal. So let's drag our level portal out into the world. So we'll set it over here. And we're just gonna come to our details panel on the left here, and we're just gonna type in the levels. So that's why the content browser, I told you that this is all important, because we want to change the level to be our level name exactly. So for instance, let's make this portal go to level B, which is just a duplicate of the platforming level with a portal moved to a different location. So just copy it exactly, level B, and return portal is going to be return. I can spell return level B, just like that. Okay, so once that's done, we're going to need a return point for once we're coming back to the hub. So go back to your portals level and just right click, blueprint class actor, BP level return point. Okay, open that up. And from here, we're going to add a scene component. And we're using scene specifically because we want to be able to get the location as well as the rotation of the scene input. Okay, so to help us visualize how our character is going to come back out, we can add an arrow as a child of the scene, and basically when we put this out in the world, our character will come out facing the same way as the arrow and at the location. So that's that. And what we're going to do now is we're going to add another string here, and we're just going to call this portal name. Okay, and just make sure it's a string and make sure it's instance editable as well. Okay, so now we can go and drag it out into the world, and I'm just going to rotate it away from the portal just so that when our character comes back, they're facing away from the portal. Okay, so now that it's out in the world, we're going to come to this portal section, and we're just going to type in what we want the return point to be. Return point level B. Okay, I'm just changing the name because I already have a return point over here called return point level B. So we're just going to name it return underscore point level B. Okay. Yeah. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to code the player to interact with these points so that we can teleport back once we've gone through the world. So go to your blueprint folder, find your BP player, and open that up. Okay, so once you're in the BP player, you're just going to go to your begin play. So I've just moved mine up from here. and we're going to drag off here and just get a sequence. Now I'm using a sequence because I don't want my code to just continue on and on and on here. It's a bit neater if it's this way. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to get our game instance. We're going to cast to BP game instance so that we can reference the variables in our game instance. So from here we're going to get last into portal. So now that we've got reference to this variable, right? So we need to check against all the actors and get their naming convention so that we can check it against here. And if they're the same, we can then teleport our character to that location. Okay. So from the top here, we're going to get all actors of class, and we're going to just check for that BP return point. So we're going to check it against BP level return point. Okay. And then from there, we're going to for each loop. So basically what this is going to do is it's going to check against all instances of this BP level return. And then the rest of the code is going to check against that. So from here, we're going to get portal name. Okay. And we're going to go equal and make sure it's this equal exactly string. So it will be these triple equal signs, and we're just going to make sure that the portal name is equal to our last portal ended. Okay. And we're going to then get a branch and connect it to the loop body. So it's just going to go through the whole array of every instance to find that the portal name of each. And if it does, we're then going to set actor location and rotation. Okay. And this will be target self because we're going to be targeting the player. So now we need to get a new location or add new rotation, right? So from the array element, we're going to drag out here, get scene, get world location of the scene, right? So it's just getting that scene component we created and getting the world location of that. And then we connect it up here, and then we just drag off the scene and get world rotation and drag it into the new rotation. Yeah. So once that's done, what we're going to do is we're going to drag out from our game instance, and we want to set last entered portal to be blank, and I'll explain why now, and just connect it to the end of your for each loop body. Yeah. So basically what it's going to do, it's going to check against all instances of this BP level return for the portal name and find one that matches the last entered portal, right? And if it does, it's then going to set our actor's location to wherever the scene component is in the world, right? Same with the rotation. And once it's done that and it's completed successfully, then we're going to set the last entered portal to be blank. So we're not holding any information. I'll just double click on this to make a rewrite node and make it a bit cleaner. And we can do the same with this execution node over here. Okay. Okay, so let's test and make sure it works. So we'll go through the portal. I'm just going to go through. Okay, so it didn't work. So let me show you what I did wrong, and make sure you do this because it's probably the critical step that we're missing. Okay, so here we made sure we're going to target level B, right? But we've set the return point to be this return point underscore level B, okay? Which all makes sense. You think it makes sense, right? But if we go to a content browser and we go to level B, our portal is called return point level B, right? So the problem is it's not setting that correctly. So if I set this to underscore point B, like it is in the hub world, as you can see when we click here, return point underscore or return underscore point underscore level B, right? Then it should work. Yeah, so let's test it out. So we're going to go through the portal to level B, as you can see, and here's our portal back, and bam, done. See, we're back out. So just to recap on why it wasn't working, our return underscore point underscore level B, right, needs to be set in the other world. So we're just going to make sure that here, our return point portal name is the same here in the hub world as it is in our next level. So if we go to the next level, make sure the portal is exactly the same. Copy and paste, sorts it, right? So that's how easily we can do that, and we can do multiple levels all doing the same thing. As long as you set up these two things correctly and made sure your naming convention is exactly the same, you will have a working portal, as you can see. Alright, that's going to do it for this tutorial, and I hope you learned something. I hope it makes sense, and if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments section down below. I'll try to answer them as best as I can, and yeah, enjoy, have fun. Cheers for now.